The boardroom fell silent as the janitor's mop clattered to the floor. Marcus Thompson stood frozen in the doorway of the 47th floor executive suite, his worn work uniform a stark contrast to the $1,000 suits surrounding the mahogany table. CEO Richard Caldwell looked up from the contract that would seal the biggest deal in his company's history, $4.2 billion that would make him one of the wealthiest men in America. But Marcus's trembling voice cut through the air like a knife. "Don't sign that deal, sir. Please." The words hung there impossibly, a single father working 3 jobs daring to interrupt the most powerful moment of a billionaire's career. Every executive in that room turned to stare, some with anger, others with shock, but Marcus couldn't stop now. His daughter's life depended on it. If you believe in the power of second chances, in moments when ordinary people find extraordinary courage, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel, because what happened next will restore your faith in humanity. Marcus had been cleaning the offices of Caldwell Industries for 6 years, always invisible, always background noise to the important people making important decisions. He worked the night shift because it paid more, mopping floors and emptying trash bins while his 8-year-old daughter, Emma, slept at his sister's house across town. Emma had been diagnosed with a rare heart condition 2 years earlier, and every penny Marcus earned went toward her medical bills, her medications, her hope for a future. He never complained, never asked for help, just pushed his cart through hallways lined with photographs of corporate success, while his own life hung by a thread. But tonight was different. Tonight, Marcus had been cleaning outside the boardroom when he heard the name that made his blood run cold: Meridian Pharmaceuticals. The company Richard Caldwell was about to acquire for $4.2 billion. Marcus knew that. Name better than anyone in that boardroom could possibly understand. Meridian was the company that manufactured Emma's heart medication, the pills that kept his daughter alive. 3 months ago, they had suddenly tripled the price, making it impossible for families like his to afford treatment. Marcus had watched other parents in the hospital waiting room break down in tears, holding their sick children, choosing between medicine and rent, between survival and bankruptcy. He had heard the whispers about Meridian's ruthless business practices, how they bought up smaller pharmaceutical companies and jacked up prices because they could, because sick people had no choice but to pay. And now Richard Caldwell, the man whose floors Marcus mopped, whose trash he emptied, was about to make those monsters even more powerful. The security guards were already moving toward Marcus when Richard held up his hand. His eyes, sharp and calculating, studied the janitor who had dared interrupt the most important meeting of his life. Marcus felt his heart pounding so hard he thought it might burst, but he thought of Emma's smile, her laugh, the way she hugged him goodnight even when the pain in her chest made breathing difficult. He thought of all the other children like her, and he found his voice again. "Sir, I know I have no right to be here, but that company you're about to buy, Meridian Pharmaceuticals, they're killing people. They raised the price of my daughter's heart medication by 300%. Families are going bankrupt. Children are dying because their parents can't afford the pills that keep them alive. I've cleaned these offices for 6 years. I've never asked you for anything. But I'm asking you now. Please don't give them more power." The room erupted in protests. Legal advisors insisted Marcus be removed immediately. Financial officers reminded Richard of the projected profits, the shareholder expectations, the market dominance this acquisition would secure. But Richard Caldwell sat perfectly still, his pen hovering over the signature line, his eyes never leaving Marcus's face. He saw something in that moment that all his business school education had never taught him. He saw the real cost of his decisions, standing in a janitor's uniform, with calloused hands and desperate eyes. He saw a father who loved his daughter more than he feared losing his job. He saw courage that had nothing to do with money or power. Richard set down his pen and stood up slowly. The executives fell silent, confused, waiting. Then he did something that would make headlines around the world. He walked over to Marcus, extended his hand, and said words that no one in that room expected. "Tell me about your daughter. Tell me about the medication. Tell me everything." What happened over the next 3 hours changed not just one deal but an entire industry. Richard canceled the acquisition and instead launched an investigation into Meridian's pricing practices. He used his considerable influence to push for pharmaceutical reform legislation. He established a foundation to help families afford life-saving medications, starting with a personal donation of $50 million. And he offered Marcus a position in his company, not as a janitor, but as a patient advocate, ensuring that the human cost of business decisions would always have a voice in the boardroom. If this story touched your heart, if you believe that one moment of courage can change everything, please hit that like button, share this video, and let me know in the comments what this story meant to you. Your engagement helps us share more stories of hope and humanity. Marcus still thinks about that night, about the moment he could have stayed silent, could have kept pushing his mop cart and let the deal happen. Emma's medication is now affordable again, not just for her but for thousands of children across the country. Marcus goes to work each day in an office on the 47th floor where he advocates for patients' rights and ensures that profit never again comes before people. And Richard Caldwell keeps a photograph on his desk, not of stock prices or corporate achievements, but of a little girl named Emma, smiling and healthy, a reminder that the most important deals we make aren't measured in billions of dollars but in lives saved and futures protected. Sometimes it takes a single father with a mop and unshakable love to show the most powerful people in the world what true wealth really means. Comment below what you would have done in Marcus's position, and remember that your voice matters more than you know.